Semper Fi Airsofters, and welcome to the day. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Sean.
And we are Foxtrot Defense Airsoft. Today, we have a very special guest for you. It is the owner, Bryan of Tacticoool Imaging. How are you, Bryan?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing fantastic. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about what you do?
Well, Tacticool Imaging, we we make patches. As you actually can see behind me.
Oh, yeah. Got all the patches.
These are some of the ones that we've done because we tend to focus on. We started focusing on airsoft patches. We do event patches for airsoft, or then we started doing more and more for other places and stuff like that. But we started out kind of being a place for teams to be able to get patches made.
So what got you into this?
Well, I've been airsofting for like 14 years. And once I figured out a way for us to do patches for my personal team, I was like, you know what? This is not that hard of a thing to get into. I'm going to start. I started creating, well, when I made Tacticool Imaging, I actually started with doing mag wraps, which.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I could show you something. So
nice.
These are my personal mags I actually run, but it's basically a decal type thing that can go on your mag. That's so awesome. You can keep track of yours or personalize them or whatever. So I was doing stock versions of those, and that's what actually got me starting the company. And then I got into doing the patches. Like I said, I had done them for my personal team, and then figured it was a way, because I try to keep costs lower than a lot of the other companies so that teams can actually get them. And having minimums, a lot of companies have higher minimums, so I do a 25 minimum, which a lot of teams don't want 100 patches, But obviously we do have to have minimums because of costs involved, but I try to keep it a lower minimum.
So is the main thing that y'all do is PVC patches?
We do, PVC tends to be the main thing we do because a lot more people want PVC. We can do embroidered ones too. They're just not as much in demand, I guess.
They kind of grew out. They phased. Yeah. Can you?
It depends too, because like PVC holds up better, especially with like the airsoft community and stuff. But some people like having the embroidered patches, and then there's this whole crazy patch world beyond airsoft that a lot of fine arts type artwork is turned into embroidered patches, and they're very collectible.
Can you explain to us a little bit about the process of creating a PVC patch? I know I'm curious. Yeah.
Well, another thing about us is, a lot of people aren't artists and they're not designers, but they might have an idea. I am actually a designer. That's my background.
Oh, nice.
So if somebody has an idea, we can develop that idea for them. And I don't charge for artwork, unlike other people too. So that's another thing. It's like, just say randomly you're getting 25 patches and they're $8 a piece. But if you think about what all we're offering, like I said, we'll do the artwork for you. So once we have the artwork designed, then if somebody has a drawing or an idea for artwork, we create a digital file. Excuse me. And then we take that, and specifically for PVC, we have to route a mold. So we basically get a CNC router, and it routes out all the details and all that kind of stuff for and if you're wanting to go 3-dimensional, it routes them out in more and all that kind of thing. And that's where a lot of the initial cost comes in from patches, is having to have that made. We hang on to the molds for a couple years, so if anybody wants to reorder stuff, they don't have to pay for that again.
Right. That makes sense.
But then once we have the mold made, the material is injected into, I don't have any molds around to show you, but it's like the material is injected into the mold to make the layers and all that kind of stuff from that. Then once those cool down, then we sew the Velcro on the back, which is usually laser cut since a lot of them are different shapes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right.
and then you have your patches.
So you have a lot of different equipment at there, wherever it is that you do your patches.
Yeah. I say personally, right now I'm in my home office, so this is where I do all the artwork and stuff. But yeah, manufacturers we have.
So what got you into airsoft?
Actually, I would say when I started playing airsoft, a buddy of mine, there was a local field that was like 2 minutes from his house, and he'd pass by it all the time. And he decided to go check it out one time. And actually, if I can plug, even though their field's not around anymore, it's SS Airsoft. So we went in there one day and sat and talked to the owner for like 45 minutes. He was just telling us everything about it, and it was a really great guy. So we're like, hey, let's get some buddies together. We came back, got some rentals, played on the field, automatically hooked. Next thing you know, we're online buying guns and everything.
Yep.
So
now we're in a lot deeper than we thought.
Yep. Do what?
So now we're all in a lot deeper than we thought.
And we were indoor for the longest time, and then we started traveling around to other indoor fields and stuff, because this was, like I said, like 14 years ago. And then we started getting into doing milsim events and stuff, and like, all right. And then unfortunately, a lot of the local fields have closed, even though yesterday I was out playing at a field like an hour north of me called F13. That's an outdoor field. But I hadn't played since April, so I'm a little bit beat up right now from playing yesterday. But then
it's
now all the big ops are getting ready to happen, so we're going to be I'll be going out doing those.
Yep, you're getting ready for the same thing that we are, I believe. You're going to be at Six Flags?
Yes, I will. I know it's already been announced, into that. But we did do the patch for the Six Flags.
The maker of the Six Flags patch.
It's absolutely incredible.
I like the glow in the dark feature you did on that one.
Thank you very much. That's another thing too. We don't charge extra for glow in the dark.
Oh, that's even better.
And these are these are the ones that we're going to be selling at our table, because we'll be set up on vendor row. Because I've actually known Freddie and the VFA. I've known Freddie and the VFA guys for quite some time. Because I started doing the patches for Third Coast Airsoft, VFA. I do Lion Claws patches. I do some patches for Stryker. So we started getting into doing a lot of the events and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's a big way to go.
Yep. Started from just playing Airsoft to now making probably everybody's patch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been crazy. It has been crazy.
And so what is your goal?
I mean, I don't really have, I just want to be able to try to help people do patches and stuff. I mean, keeping doing the patches has gotten me in, because now I'm a vendor, so I show up, I get to do vending at all the events and stuff like that. And it kind of keeps, because there was a brief point when my team, a lot of my team had gone off to do life and whatnot. So I was kind of like the only one there. So this kind of kept me going with the airsoft thing, and not, But as I said, I've been doing it for a while. I want to just keep doing it. I just want to keep being able to get patches out there for people, or help them get patches. I mean, there might be some people that. I'm sorry?
I love your patches.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I said there might be people out there that are cheaper, or you get the emails all the time from the ones that are like, yeah, we'll do this, this, and this. But, you got to think about what people offer. Like I said, I'm an airsofter doing these for airsofters, so.
Yeah, there's always a new patch person popping up, but you need to stick with the ones that are going to give you the quality, and I believe that you have the quality.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Like I said, customer or people talking about it, that's what actually keeps me going, you know what I mean? Because it'll be sometimes when it's really slow, we're not getting a lot of work, or I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed with a lot of work, because all the artwork I do myself. And there's only been like twice that I think I've actually sent out somebody to do the artwork because I had too much going on. And so I don't even like doing that, because then I got to charge more.
That's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But it's like,
It's a good problem to
if
have.
I outsource artwork, then I got to pay that person, which they're worth it, but then I got to charge more to cover extra costs, and I don't like doing that, you know?
Yeah.
Now, do you have anybody underneath you? Is this just a solo system that you have going on yourself?
It's me. I've got a couple of guys that, because this, like, in all full transparency, this is not my full-time job. This is kind of like a side thing. So I have a couple of guys from my team that do help me out.
Okay.
And they'll actually they'll be at the tent with me at Six Flags.
Okay, it'll be good to come by and see y'all.
Yeah.
Get to meet you in person.
Definitely.
Maybe even talk over us getting our patches.
Hey.
The embroidery ones we got, Amazon does great, but they don't do it all.
Hey, gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I got into it. I actually got my first set of patches made from, I don't even remember who it was. It was some kind of online thing that I still have them. They're our official team patch. But like I said, then when I figured out I could get into doing it myself, I was like, psh.
So what would you say your, and not to be too far forward, but your startup on this, would you say that it was an arm and a leg type of deal, or?
To get into it?
Yeah, if someone were to get into it.
Oh, to actually get into making patches?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I would say you're going to have to do some research and just I would say start out with finding a manufacturer, because obviously it's a big undertaking to try to do it all yourself. So if you can find a good manufacturing company that will produce the things, you know, and being able to
heard
artwork.
Yeah, we've heard a few people go, well, it's just PVC. It shouldn't be that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
They forget about the fact that
there's a lot more involved than a lot of people think about.
Oh, yeah. So on average, how fast can you push them out? Say, you know, a 20 order, a minimum order, you know, is that something that it takes you a very long time to do, or are you, you know, right
our
to
general turnaround is 4 weeks, but that includes sort of includes artwork and then getting it shipped to the customer and stuff like that. So we got to, you know, kind of work with, usually that's like a week to ship to somebody unless they're closer or local.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
Do you ever do event pickup style things if you're going to be at an event?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I did a bunch for Third Coast for their Texas event that I'm probably going to be bringing up to Six Flags to deliver to them. I have another customer who I'm hoping to have their order ready so that I can bring them to Six Flags.
Yeah, I know Sal will be down there, so
yeah.
He'll be there to pick it up.
He's excited too.
Yeah, we actually just talked to Sal, and I know he's very excited to come down.
Yeah.
And that'll be good to get a lot of...
We just finished the artwork for Sirius Viking.
Ooh,
I got the approval on that from Sal. The Crossbones patches are almost finished, so I'll probably be delivering those. And I got the Starburst ones that I'll be delivering.
Starburst, yep.
That's going to be awesome. So,
where are you guys out of?
Tennessee.
Yeah, we're out of Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So besides Third Coast, 3 events, and Six Flags, what's your upcoming? You got anything else big coming for your company?
That I'm going to, or that we're making for?
That you're going to and making for.
I'm going to Six Flags, and I'm not going to Starburst because I'm in Atlanta, and that's 14 hours away, and I've done it once, and that was a very long drive. It was a very fun event, but it was a very long drive. So I'll be doing Six Flags. Do what?
Are you doing Sirius?
I'll be at Sirius Viking. I'll be at Crossbones and at Sirius Viking. Those are the only ones I got. There was another one coming up. New Breed Airsoft. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Rob Wiener. They're doing one in Florida in October, but it's like the weekend after Crossbone.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I'm not making that one, even though I am doing the patches for it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got getting ready to start doing some stuff for Iron Claw We just did the ones, the Thunderdome. We do those patches.
Awesome.
Have you guys gone out to that one?
No, we actually just heard about Iron Claw when we were
really?
talking with Sal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a lot more stuff West Coast, I think. But they just did that one at the mall.
Yeah, in Georgia, right?
North Carolina, I think.
Oh, okay.
Thunderdome. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've thought about checking it out since we've had that conversation with Sal.
Yeah, there's
a new one to get into.
There's a lot more than we ever thought there really was.
Yeah, there's all kind. There's a lot of smaller event companies too putting stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about bushwhacking on that one, you also built the patches for bushwhacking
Actually,
too,
yeah, I'm getting ready to do. Yeah, he's got like an Eagle Claw.
Eagle Strike.
Or something.
Yeah.
Eagle Strike. Yeah, he just put in the order for those.
Oh,
that's coming up in October as well.
Yep. Then you did Stormbreaker too, right?
I don't think. Which one was that?
June.
Yeah.
It was in June.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did those or not.
No? Okay. So,
there are places I don't do them for.
Yeah.
Let's say it, I mean, people, I have no problem. I'm not like, because I actually know some of the other guys, because there's Who Shot First Patches, who does the stuff for AMS, American Milsim. Actually, I know Darren. I met him once before. So it's not, I'm not going to go in there and try to steal customers from him or anything like that. So, yeah. Because, I've had people come to me that wanted me to do their patches, but they had already had them done by somebody else. So I was like, well, hey, they already have your mold. So you're going to get it cheaper to go that anyway, route. So,
yeah. Yeah. Much easier when you already have stuff made and then you're going back in and just doing it back over compared to having to make the whole new mold and everything.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm not going
to,
So how do you make the molds? Is it like, do you have to have somebody make it for you, or do you have a machine that does it?
Those we actually do have somebody that does have the CNC table, because it's very, very, it's like $100,000 machine that I don't have the money to pay for being an airsoft.
Yeah.
But it's basically just a CNC routing machine that's gonna, there's like a metal plate or a couple of them, depending on how many patches we're making. Like if we're doing an event with like 700 patches or something, we'll do more than one mold. But it basically starts out as like this metal, and it's, if you're familiar with how CNC routers, it'll basically carve out the detail into it for the injection to go into.
Okay. And then you kind of have like, how do you do the PVC part itself? Is it like a gun? You kind of put it where you want it, or?
Yeah. And that one also depends on the quantity. Cause if it's a large quantity, there's with a machine that we pretty much, program in which colors go where, kind of thing, based on the artwork and the mold. So it'll inject them into it and go back and do it like an assembly line type of thing. Smaller quantities, sometimes we end up just doing them by hand. So we'll it's kind of like, it's almost like a syringe type thing that you're going to just inject it, and you just got to be very careful and inject it in there.
Gosh, it
sounds very meticulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's why sometimes it does take a little longer.
Is that one of those you got to wear a respirator for too? Just to make sure you don't get anything?
So from start to finish, when you get an order, how long does it take you to have a finished product?
Like I said, usually in like 4 weeks. If the customers give us artwork that's ready to go, we don't have to do anything with it, then, we just go straight into production of the mold. But if it's one of those where we're doing artwork, it could just depend on how much back and forth we go until we get the artwork down. And nothing goes to production. What?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, nothing goes to production until, the customer's 100% happy. I'm not going to go and be like, oh no. Yeah. But they go through the process with them, show them different. I'll come up with a couple different ideas. They'll look at that and they can either they'll be like, oh yeah, that's great. Let's go with this. Or like, what if we change this or do this? And then, we'll work through it.
What would you say takes the longest for you to do while you're making the patch? Is it the injecting part for a small order, or is it waiting on the CNC'd part to come back?
It's usually the injecting the PVC parts.
Because it's
Depending
so
on the
meticulous.
workload, we usually can get the CNC, the mold done in like a couple days or so. So the longest part of it's the actual making of the patches.
And do you source everything that you can locally?
Yeah.
That's good. Keeping business in where you live. You
Yeah.
said you're from Atlanta?
Yes.
There's always a lot going on down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I'm
Yeah.
just outside of, but in the suburb kind of thing. But yeah.
Atlanta's Atlanta.
No, the end of the So to get down to it, you've made thousands of patches. You've been in this for umpteen years now. What would you say has been your favorite patch so far?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Figured that one would be a hard one.
That's a tough question because as you all the ones up here are ones that I've made for people. I'm also a Star Wars nerd. So these are ones that I've actually made for people, and then I actually have, because I've run out of room on my walls, I have a box of, because I'll keep one from every order. So if they reorder it, I can use it as for quality control and for my personal collection. But but as for a favorite, that is a really hard question.
So
'Cause
as
we've
of recently, let's go like 6 months. There's been a lot of events and a lot of people that have come to you for patches over the last 6 months. Out of the last 6 months, which one would you say is your favorite?
I'm looking through my box. Actually, I'd say the Six Flags one might be up there.
It's definitely a very good looking patch.
Yeah, that one's definitely one of my favorites.
And then the Stay Tuned patch definitely has to go on my wall.
Yeah. I'm coming.
Yeah, because
right
that
to
was with
tent.
the whole thing that Freddie was doing with Stay Tuned because he wasn't giving any info. So when I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do one of those. I don't know. I mean, like I said, that's a really good question.
Caught him off guard.
And I know third coasts are normally very meticulous too, and I like the way they turn out.
Yeah, say because with them, well, like with the Six Flags one, I actually did 5 or 6 ideas because it took me a while because I wanted that one to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with a few ideas, throwing them back and forth with Freddie, and then when we kind of came up with that one's the one that kind of clicked because it's got a couple little secrets in it.
Oh yeah,
which I still
Curious
don't even
to
know
see.
a lot of the information myself.
It's going to be a play-by-ear type of game.
it's an
Stay tuned.
It's an evolving game.
Exactly. Let's say because I know
It's evolving.
He just dropped some info, so I got to go back and read up on some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard question to answer.
So, what's your thoughts on the new up-and-coming Eagle Strike patch?
That was not a bad one. That was one they actually just gave me the artwork on. I didn't have to do anything on that one. So that was basically
That's awesome.
yeah, we want to get this done. Here you go.
Is there any times when you would suggest like tweaks to the artwork when you receive it?
Yeah. Yeah, actually there was one that we did uh-oh, my cat's trying to get in. I was working with somebody on doing a patch, and they had an idea and kind of like a rough drawing type thing, and we kind of worked on that a little bit, but then once we got into it, I saw it looked similar to another patch that somebody else had, so I was like, okay, we need to kind of change this up because even though it wasn't intentional, it's too close to what somebody else already has, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like, yeah, this patch, that's cool looking, but what if we did this color, or what? Glow in the dark's a lot of fun to deal with too, because it's kind of like, which actually with the Crossbones patch, Third Coast always wants glow in the dark on their stuff, so it's trying to pick what might be glow in the dark as opposed to what might be obviously glow in the dark, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So one part you would like, because white works best with glow in the dark. So like with the stay tuned, the white text is glow, but I didn't do glow in the dark for like here. You can do glow in the dark colors too. They're just not as bright because we have to
Gotcha.
mix a glow in the dark into the pigment itself to make the colors. But having that glow in the dark kind of pops, or something that looks one way, but when you see it at night and it's glowing and it kind of changes the look of the whole patch kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Ambiance.
Yeah.
Well, unless you have something else, I believe that's all we have for the day.
Yep. We really appreciate you coming on and all the information that you've given us.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
very eye-opening to see exactly how it is that you do what you do, and I know a lot of people are curious because we've talked about how is it even made.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about it before, and we know a lot of guys have talked about it too, and well, we appreciate your time and your knowledge.
Yep. And being able
Yeah, I
to come
appreciate
on
you
and
guys
tell us
having me
exactly.
on.
Yeah, and we can't wait to meet you in person. We got 2 weeks. 2
Yep,
weeks.
it's coming
barely.
down.
Yep, and we'll get to meet you, and
Coming right for that stay tuned patch.
it's definitely coming for that stay tuned patch.
So
So, as always, do what you love,
I love what you do.
and we thank you for your time. Good night.
Thank you guys.